Hello and welcome to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 145. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and I'm joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted Libby. James?
Yes.
How are you doing today? Because we're going to talk a lot about Ted in a little bit.
Right.
Because it's... but how are you?
Yeah, it's the Ted show. Yeah.
It's the Ted show.
Yeah.
With
Ted.
With Ted.
Yeah, you had a great fantasy win last week. And,
Great fantasy win.
Hoping to do a repeat. We'll see.
You're playing against me, my friend, so we'll see.
I know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Ted, also the Lord of D, he has also won. And Ted you predicted 15-0 in our fantasy league. And one loss, disappointing season.
Yeah. I could already predict 2-0. We'll see who you play.
We'll see who you play. I predicted it. 2-0. But don't worry, we'll reference that. We'll let you know on Ted's quest to be perfect throughout this year.
Yep.
All right, we're back.
I should point out I don't know football, so I am guessing.
Right. But you've guessed well.
Yeah, I have guessed well. I guess quite well.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. I'm impressed.
Who would have thought the Cleveland Browns? Not really, terrible.
Who would have thought? Yeah.
Really putting it together there.
Not me.
Yeah. But enough about fantasy football. Enough about normal football. Because this is the 145th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. We're every Monday morning and sometimes Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on how busy my week is, I'll get to it. You'll get the show. You're going to get it.
The upload yesterday.
Yeah, it was great. A lot of views. We're doing well. We're doing all right, folks.
I think Tuesday upload might be a better
That's
day,
what I'm thinking. Just, maybe we'll show 6 days. We'll be really in the past on all these shows.
Yeah.
Once a week, we Discord over 500 miles, talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. We're really just going to talk more about Starfield because Ted Libby has a problem, folks. A big old problem. Theodore.
I have a problem.
Last week when we recorded the show, you had played 0 minutes of Starfield. That was 7 days ago.
Yep.
How many hours of Starfield do you have logged?
Well, my Xbox I think is a little inaccurate because when I freeze the game to turn off the Xbox, I think it's recording a little extra.
Oh, like a few minutes, but not like hours.
Yeah. But I think now I've clocked 37 hours.
So basically, it's almost like a full-time job since last week.
In Starfield.
Yeah, he's done 40 hours.
I've neglected my entire social calendar this weekend and stayed in for 3 days, and I had a few days off. So I played a lot of Starfield.
That's fantastic.
Potentially an unhealthy amount of Starfield.
Still have the girlfriend?
Still have her.
Oh,
she's sticking around. She doesn't know yet.
Oh, she doesn't know at all?
Yeah, no, I haven't told her.
That's smart. Okay, hiding the Starfield.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
James, you played a lot more Starfield than where we were last week. Yeah. Do you have an hour count?
20. Can I actually look on the Xbox app?
I don't know if you can look on the Xbox app. You have to probably go in game.
Your save file has it.
Has it
right there?
Yeah, right in the front. Days and hours.
Days and hours.
Had it.
They know.
I hate seeing the days. When you see 1 day, you're like, oh god, what an awful waste of time.
It just tells me how long to beat. Okay, so I think I have like 20 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am probably around Ted, but I did it in 2 weeks, not one. So, just for health reasons, I want to put that out there in case my parents are concerned or something. Ted, you didn't play anything. You had no reference. You didn't know. What do you think? What do you think of this Starfield, bro? Obviously, you kind of like it.
So that's the problem.
That's the crux.
I kind of have mixed feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say on the outset, what Starfield is selling to you, the player, has hooked its teeth into me full on.
Yeah.
So that I will say off the bat, like I am in the premise of this game, which we discussed a little bit last week. I am in the Firefly adjacent, like everyone kind of gets their own personal spaceship, and that's just how this universe works.
Yeah.
That's totally normal. And everyone gets to fly around the galaxy together. It's a good premise.
Really
it's not bad.
Cool ship.
Thank you. I like my ship. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not that far in any particular quest line. I think my time has probably been split fairly evenly around shipbuilding, base building, and I have done the beginning of almost every possible quest line. Just kind of feeling her out. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Also, we might have like light spoilers in this conversation, but don't get that. We're not diving into deep stuff, but I want to talk kind of openly about it.
Yeah.
I haven't done any outpost building. How is that? Explain it.
Oh man. Okay, so
I got
this.
more resources than God right now in my ship.
Yeah, my
so
ship is a resource hub.
Yep.
yeah. So I'll say you both absolutely nailed it last week talking about this game. Kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
This is a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
Through and through. Jake mentioned last week it is a theme park that is attuning itself to your will.
Yep.
Very much that. It's still the Mage Guild, the Thieves Guild, the Fighters Guild. That's still all there.
Yes.
I don't know why I was thinking this game was going to be different.
Right.
Until I started playing it, and I was like, this is just Fallout 4.
And I think that helps.
And
The minute you kind of go, oh, it's a Bethesda game. It's just another Bethesda game in space. I like this. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
It is a lot like Fallout 4.
Yeah.
For better and for worse. There are a lot of menus that they love to shove in your face.
All the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of crafting and a lot of systems, and this game takes a step back in that it doesn't explain any of that shit to you.
Which I actually love. I'm like starting to love that it explains nothing.
Yeah. It's really great when you don't need the game to explain anything to you, and it's really shitty as soon as you're like, okay, how does the outpost work? What do I do with all of my cargo?
Yeah.
Then it starts to become a problem.
That makes sense. And that's like with shipbuilding, you really had to like James, you haven't built a ship yet, if I recall your text.
I bought a ship and just added more cargo to it.
It's the ship. Have you done the Mantis quest?
No, I've heard about this Mantis
quest. You get
quest,
a very good ship from it.
I'm doing a main story short, like a shot of the main story, like get all the way up almost to the end, and then go back and do... no, I'm not going to New Game Plus right away. Okay. I'm going to go back and do all the side quests, and then I'm going to New Game Plus.
The fact that New Game Plus is kind of built into this game has made me like, I'm going to kind of go quickly through this main story.
I heard you just need to do whatever you want to do in your first playthrough, and then New Game Plus.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do everything I want to do.
Yeah.
The story's pretty good. Where I'm at in the story, it's like kind of interesting. I'm like, what the hell's happening here?
I'm curious where you're at, because I've been cranking a lot of the story. It's good.
Yeah. So it's no spoiler now. You get powers in this game.
Yeah, that's what I was like. It's like Skyrim. It's a little Fallout 4 Skyrim.
Yeah, Ted, have you gotten powers?
Nope.
Wow. Okay. Spent 35 hours, no powers.
Yeah, main quest wise, I am still getting the gang back together.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've kind of done a few hours of almost every side quest.
Okay.
Or like those main kind of faction-y quests.
Those main one.
I have not gotten powers yet, but that's fine.
Yeah. All right. I mean, to be honest, never used my powers. Kind of.
Well, I mean, it's a Bethesda game, right? Like they recycle a lot of their concepts into this game. So you telling me there's powers, Dragonborn powers? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, this makes total sense.
Sorry, hold on. I didn't want my phone to go off again. Yeah. No, exactly. You have powers.
Yeah.
I feel like back to like with shipbuilding, like James hasn't built a ship yet, and that's like a thing where like the game doesn't tell you how to build a ship. You kind of just got to go into the menus and figure it out on your own.
How is it on Xbox? Because you're both playing Xbox, right?
It's fine, but it is not fun to control sometimes. It's like very like irritating. You're like, no, I want to be able to grab this part and swing around. And
You would think it'd be better on PC, but it's probably just the same experience. It's absolutely awful.
Yeah. On Xbox, it like centers the ship to your center of gravity, and you kind of like Lego stick pieces to the side of it or all around it, which is great the very first time you make a ship. And so what I did, I just built the ship of my dreams right off the bat because it doesn't tell you not to. And then I hit start, and then it's like, oh, you didn't pass these
all the errors.
Here's these 9 checks.
And we're not going to show you where any of these errors are, so you need to figure that shit out on your own.
Yeah, it's like Unity.
Pulling the ship back apart to try and fix that's stupid. Whenever I came into a problem like that, I basically just had to restart.
Yep.
Well, it shows you as you go. I guess it'll show you a bunch of errors right away, like if you're starting from scratch. Mm-hmm. But when I was just doing like simple edits, it just showed me the error, like, hey, that's not gonna work, or hey, you need to do this. And so the first ship you start with, like, you can't really add too much to it. You couldn't really add too much storage, so I went and bought like one of those cheap 50K ships, and then added more stuff to it.
Yeah.
And then
I've been stealing a lot of ships.
Nice.
See, that's what I need. But the thing is, I can't battle. My ship has like no guns. It's just all storage.
Yeah, get the Mantis ship. that solves like everything out of that.
I steal a lot of ships because when you steal a ship and you sit in it, it just adds to your inventory, and then
So
you can
nice.
go into your shipbuilder, select the ship you just stole, and then play with all the tools right then and there. And that way you usually have a pretty good reactor and jump drive already set up, and you can just play with like
and you
how it looks.
you can steal ships that are like out of your building range. Like you have like a building skill that you need to kind of move up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I did, was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I'll just kind of start messing around with the ship that I unlocked through like one of the main quests. I did like the Rangers quest, and like, you get stuff through that. And so then I was like, oh, okay, I'll edit this and then kind of learn the system through it. So super fun though. Yeah.
I think I said last week that I was doing the martial artist build, but I've quickly pivoted to just laser rifles and snipers because it's just not good.
No, I figured melee wasn't going to be
There's
good.
not a lot of good melee weapons. Like there was no power glove, and that's all I wanted. So, oh well.
Yeah.
You have to use like swords or whatever, and it's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, swords. Yeah, that's a lot about.
Yeah, you can just shoot people in this game.
The guns are really good.
Yeah,
I love them.
By comparison,
They feel great.
Yeah, the shooting's really good.
They're not your jank pipe pistol.
No, it's id Software like helped them with the shooting, and it like you can feel it. It's really good.
It's good.
Ted, what's your character like? What'd you start with? You got parents? You got an adoring fan? You got a cool house?
I have an adoring fan.
Nice.
I have parents. I haven't visited my parents yet.
Okay.
And then I'm also wanted.
Yes, I'm wanted too.
Yeah, it just adds more flavor. And also I get to steal their ships, which is very fun.
Yeah, wanted bounty hunters show up at any time and like, hey, we got a bounty on your head. It's huge, and then you got to go fight them in space combat and shit.
Yeah,
it's like
one of the things I would point out, to the game's credit, this game does the character RPG aspect really well, where like you'll get a bunch of potential dialogue options or choices based on your backstory or how your perks are playing out. So I've heard the story a few times. You guys probably have as well. But the bounty hunters basically attacked me, and I got to pick my piloting skill, and I was just like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And they were like, "Actually, your ship looks pretty good. We're gonna leave now."
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's it. And then they just and like I got away that one time. It has not happened since, but I got away with it because I bluffed my piloting skill.
That's super cool.
Little things like that are pretty cool. I picked the space trucker, as I said I would.
I figured, yep.
Yeah, and you actually get a surprising amount of dialogue options based on being a space trucker.
Yeah, I think I'm like the scoundrel, like the Han Solo kind of type, and you get a lot of dialogue options for that, and they're always like very Star-Lord-esque, kind of Malcolm from Firefly kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say overall the story beats, or the character beats, maybe is a better way to put it, are pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot of the UC, the United Colonists questline, which is, no spoilers, quite fun.
Oh, cool! I'll do that.
A lot better than the bland description they originally tell you, where they're like, "You'll run cargo ships."
Yeah, it seemed very boring when that was brought to my attention.
It's funny, classic Bethesda game. Every single quest line starts with like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. Who cares? Here's a job." And then the next one, you're like, "Oh my god, this is the world-changing event, and we need you specifically." And you're like, "All right, I'm the most important person in the world. I get it."
Yep, that's my one thing that like I just don't love that aspect of it. Of feeling like it's like the whole world is circling around my character. I feel like games don't do that as much anymore as like they used to, but Bethesda still does that.
Very much so.
So it just kind of takes it out of it for me a little bit.
Yeah, I will say I really like the Thieves Guild, the Ryujin Industries.
Oh, okay.
Simply because you are just a corporate spy, and
cool.
and you are doing, and they keep telling you like, please don't kill anybody. It's more work if you do. Just, sneak in, plant like fake, false data on their computers, or like talk them out of a business deal. It's like it's a very cute spin on like the Thieves Guild.
Oh, very cool.
Is that on Neon?
Yeah, it's on Neon.
I love Neon.
I went into that thinking like this is going to be a stupid, like, or I should say run of the mill assassination quest line, and it ended up being a lot more interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Jake, have you done the Neon story mission yet?
The Neon one with the business guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm past that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I really like. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the corporate aspect to this world. Very similar to Cyberpunk. It's very
Cyberpunk.
Yeah. And actually, this game makes me kind of want to play Cyberpunk again sometimes.
I know. I was thinking about that a little bit.
I can't wait for the Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I was like, shit, that's going to get me to play Cyberpunk next year. Maddie's going to hate it. But I was like, this game has great like a spin on corporate America in space, and like when you go to Earth in this game, I love dystopian futures. I think that's just like such an interesting concept, and I love when you go to Earth in this game. And I guess spoiler, have you guys all been to Earth?
Yeah.
I've not. I've been to the moon though.
Can I just tell you what's? I mean, you've probably seen Earth from the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
Earth
on
is
the
just a
moon.
desert
It's
or
just
whatever.
a desert, and I found you can find books in this game, and I found a Charles Dickens book. I found Oliver Twist, and I read Oliver Twist, and it was like, oh, like you should go to where Oliver Twist took place, and I went to London on the desert Earth, and there was like one building sticking out of the desert, and I like picked up like a little snow globe of like London back in the day.
Oh, that's pretty wild.
I was like,
That's
wow,
cool.
so like I bet that's for like every main city has like a book attached to it.
Yeah,
It tells
there
you where
are
to
a lot
go.
of books.
I was like, yeah, you find Dracula all over the fucking place. That book is
Yeah.
everywhere. But I love that aspect of it. And I'm really getting into like doing shit in my ship and like setting up little fun stuff with the items and like item rotation and stuff.
I haven't done that, but I saw someone like have like a whole like weapon rack system and all that, and I haven't felt committed to my ship yet. Like it's not my ship. Like it's just like my holdover ship until I make my ship.
And that's the thing is, once you change one little piece of your ship, all of the stuff that you've set up vanishes.
Yeah.
What?
And like that, not deleted, but goes into your ship's inventory and you have to do it again.
Yeah.
So like I've seen like I set up a whole bar for my guy because like I snuck into this bar and stole like all of these different like accoutrements to have like a bar, like a shaker and all these cups. Set it all up perfectly like a bar does. And you know Bethesda physics, sometimes it's jank as shit and you knock over like 8 glasses that you just set up perfectly. And I did it. And then I was like, this is perfect. And I was like, oh, I want to do one more ship edit. And I like changed something, came back in, and it was gone. And I was like, oh no, like all my work, like that was like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good though.
Plus, what you just you load your save and you. Oh, actually, I don't know if you quick save.
Dude, I'm having issues
I'm
with
a
the
quick
save.
save addict. Oh, really?
Ted, you playing this on Xbox?
Yeah.
Cloud saves working for you?
Yeah, everything's fine. I'm switching off my roommate's playing it on the other screen, or like we switch off, like he's playing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issues whatsoever with any kind of cloud saves. I just quick save in a pinch and hit a new save all the time.
Wow,
That's so cool. So you're just playing with different accounts, and he just cloud.
Yeah, different accounts.
Oh,
same Game Pass subscription, but whatever.
Well, that's cool.
That's such a good deal.
Don't tell them, Ted. Come on.
Sorry.
Keep it low. Keep it low,
sorry.
dude.
Microsoft is listening to this.
We have our own Game Pass subscriptions.
Yeah. It's company wide, you know.
We're cool.
Yeah. If we make money, Ted, I'll pay for your Game Pass subscription. Okay.
Oh,
we're gonna make money from this.
Man.
I got you. But don't share with Eric. Okay.
Listen, we've shelled out for Game Pass like probably half of the episodes that we've ever done.
We have. It's on Game Pass too, which is just incredible. Another thing, guys. Starfield right away. Get Game Pass, unless you wanted to play it early, like James and I.
Yeah. Have you seen any numbers for Starfield?
I know it had 1 million concurrent players at one point over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the sales numbers, which I don't know how they equate that for Game Pass, but
they sold it very well on Steam. Sold very well on Steam.
That's very crazy because it was a lot of money on Steam.
Yeah, and they already getting the Game Pass money, so they don't give a shit about that.
Right. So
I bet you a lot of new subscribers too. They'll release that data of like the first month with Starfield.
That's what I want to see. Yeah, the Game Pass subscribers.
Yeah, because it probably just skyrockets.
This is the first time people in my circles are like, I really want to check it out. And it's like, Game Pass, dude.
Game Pass, just $15.
Check it up for $15, yeah.
Especially because I feel like with this game, like how it opens up, and that's actually interesting. We got a comment on our last YouTube video that was like, the game doesn't like open slow. Like you get your ship and you can just go anywhere. And it's like, yeah, but I think that's like how the game teaches you how to move through the world is really slow. Yeah. And like you can go do anything. And I think that's probably why New Game Plus gets so good. But like, it doesn't teach you how to go anywhere and do anything and what to do. Right. And so like, I think that's like, this game could be a big turnoff for someone if you don't have Game Pass. Like you pay $70-$80 for this and you're like, well, this game's slow as shit. This sucks. Yeah. That's how I felt about Oblivion back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about Oblivion too.
Glad
and then I was like, I thought I would have played it was just on
fucking
something.
Nerd.
But then Skyrim came.
Then Skyrim came and I was like, oh, this must be great, man.
Everything.
Yeah,
really did.
Oblivion's a great game. What are you talking about?
Dad, give me some highlights. What are the things that you just like really dug?
So this is kind of where teeter into my mixed feelings. But I as we've been talking about, dig the world, dig the characters. Yeah. They do it pretty darn well, I would say. Both being like a small time, everyone gets a little spaceship.
Yep.
All the way to like kind of larger political stuff with like the factions, which is pretty cool. I'm really just liking, if I were to give a highlight, and this has a lot to do with personal play style, but like the amount of just kind of random things that will happen to you in the course of trying to complete a quest.
Yeah.
Where you like land on a planet and then another ship kind of lands nearby and you're like, I'm gonna go check out that planet, that ship over there and see what happens. And then that leads to something. And then I had, my super duper mart moment, which is this telltale sign of a great Bethesda game, where I came across like an abandoned casino spaceship. I don't know if you guys have
I've
done
not
this
yet.
yet.
No.
But it was literally this thing of like, I don't have enough gas to make the full jump, so I have to do this pit stop. And then in this pit stop, you see a quote mysterious ship, and you dock with it, and then it is a super duper mart through and through. Like, it's not special, no crazy story, just there are bandits, and they at the beginning they tell you about a safe hidden somewhere, and there's little puzzles, and that's it. And I spent an hour and 20 minutes just figuring out this teeny little puzzle that didn't matter.
Yeah. I had something like that where I was like flying around and I just like got a distress call, and it was like I could have not answered the call, and it was like this lady being like, hey, like I'm working at this research facility and we just got like attacked, like can you come and help us out? And like when I just did this whole like little small, definitely like procedurally generated quest that like took me to 2 locations on the planet and stuff. It was super fun. Got like I feel like good rewards from it, and it was like, man, it's just like randomly I was on my mission to do something else, and here we go. Like this is super cool.
Nice.
Bethesda's always got some good stuff like that in their games, but
yeah.
The exploration I think is a little awkward on planets sometimes, but
yes,
it's just like the same old on most planets, and that I don't think is great.
Yeah. Also, a lot of the story missions are just like redundant. Like it's almost the exact same thing, like the exact same purpose. Some are a little bit different, but most are just the exact same.
Yeah.
Like go down here, grab this, come back up, go back home.
And I do feel like for me, like one thing that I liked about like Skyrim and Fallout much better than this game is just going somewhere for at least the first time, like making the mission to go somewhere. Walking there. Because in this game, you just go into your little menu.
Travel everywhere.
You select the planet, because I guess you could fly to the star system and then pick the planet without going to the menus, but it's so much faster. You just pick the planet you want to go to, the city, and then you land, and it's like you're never in space.
Yeah.
And that to me, I don't love like how quick I can go about that.
Yeah. I will say that this is a very few criticisms aside, this is a very good Bethesda game.
Yes.
This is not a very good space game, and I mean that in technical terms. It's great in spirit. As soon as you like build your own ship and you're like, this is my ship with my crew, and I feel and everyone's calling me captain. This is great. Yeah. But technically speaking, space travel is just fast traveling from Skyrim with a bunch of extra steps.
Yeah.
It is just from your mission log, you select X to pick the solar system, select X to pick the planet, select X to place your ship on the planet. Bada bing, bada boom, you're there.
But at least in Skyrim, you have to walk to that place first to do that.
Yeah.
Where in this game, everything is just there. Like you saying you didn't have enough fuel to fly somewhere, so you had to stop somewhere. I've never not had enough fuel.
Yeah.
I've just looked at it and like, I can't make that jump, so I guess I won't do it yet.
Yes, yeah. So like fuel is not a risky factor at all.
No,
I do not.
It's not a resource, right?
Yeah. You don't ever need to refuel your ship. Fuel just means how many stars you can jump in a row.
Thank God, too, because that would suck.
And you can fix that by adding more fuel tanks. Like, problem solved.
Yeah.
But yeah, like space travel is very clunky. Traveling in general is very clunky. I think, as to James's point, there are a lot of quests that are just go here, talk to somebody, and come back. And so that is just pick the system, pick the planet, pick the landing spot, walk somewhere, load into a building, talk to somebody, load out of the building, and then walk back to your ship, load into the ship, fast travel, you're done.
But you don't even sometimes have to load into the ship. Sometimes you just fast travel right after you talk to the person.
Yeah, sometimes you just go.
Yeah. So I have found that if you just click, like you can finagle around it by opening up your star map and like picking, fast traveling directly to the planet, so you don't even have to worry about space at all. And to me, that's pretty trivializing. It's one of these things. I was laughing with my roommate about it, that like I forgot something. Like I forgot to buy ammo, and I landed, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot to buy ammo. So let me just
never buy ammo.
Right back.
Yeah, menus.
Just zip right back. Went to the big capital city planet, bought some ammo, zipped right back to the frontier, and I was good to go. And it took 10 minutes, and you're like, that's not really space travel, right?
Yeah, it was just menu travel.
That's not a voyage. Yeah, you're not traveling.
Like, I know technically, I'm sure that was so hard, and they tried to make it like No Man's Sky, where you could come in on your planet location and stuff. But knowing that like No Man's Sky does it, and it feels so cool to like come into a planet, it's just like you miss something in this game of being like, man, I just wish I could do that.
I feel like once they have mod support, which will be next year, or maybe someone's working on right now, there might be some impressive mods that'll allow you to do that. Yeah, which would be cool, because right now it's just like, you land in this one location, you can walk around, but that's not fun. You can jetpack around. We haven't really talked about jetpack stuff, but that's been fun.
I haven't spec'd it.
It's good.
You haven't spec'd it at all?
Just 1 point. Get in there.
Just get it for 1
point. I have 1 point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Just to use it.
It's
Yeah, because you can't even use it unless you put a point into it, which is crazy.
Okay. We let's talk about that. So let's talk about like the systems in which are like gate kept, locked behind skill trees, which kind of sucks, because like, hey, you'll have this like pack on your back and you can't use it until you level into it. It's like totally worthless. I don't know, maybe add some stat stuff, but and then like stealing stuff like that's like just so inherent for any Bethesda game at this point. But now you have to spec into it.
The fact you have to spec into those certain things, like I don't mind the piloting or whatever. Like, okay, cool. Like there's different like levels for all that, but like stealth, pickpocketing, there's like just like a few things that
you're wasting your level points, and it's like, God damn it! Like I don't want to like waste my points.
I was going to come at this from the other angle of a lot of the surveying and resource gathering, which ultimately leads into crafting, are gated behind like talent points, which I'll talk about more when we talk about base building. But just the idea that like leveling up doesn't always feel like an exciting, like, oh, I get a new thing. Sometimes it feels like, oh, I got to go point like busy work points into my basic abilities just to keep up, you know?
Yeah. Like there's like there's a skill tree for carrying more stuff, which I know isn't in Fallout and stuff. But like, man, you can put a point into making cooler starship like designs, or to carry 10 more pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or to have
just to hold more
have
stuff.
10% more stamina.
Yeah. In a game like, that you need to carry as much as you can, because there's so much stuff. And it's very cool.
I have it maxed out.
See?
I can carry the max weight, and I have like 2 big cargo storage. Like I'm such a hoarder. A mission can probably take like, I don't know, maybe like 5-10 minutes. Like if you're just blasting through, like killing everyone. I have to look at every single nook and cranny in case there's a goddamn magazine that's gonna like change my life. Yeah. So I'm in every single nook and cranny in every single mission to see what is in like a locker. Mm-hmm. I have like I master lockpicking skill. Like I have to look at see everything.
I love it.
And it's because of Bethesda, because I know that they're fucking assholes, and they have like hide it behind like some like potted plant, and so I have to like look at it. But that's where they've been. Like, they've been in like some gym locker or something like that.
But that's what you love about the game.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's where most of my 30 hours is just like looking at every single room. Like, but you know what makes it better is that like the little F camera, which what has always been a thing with like the like the little like, the scanner.
Yeah.
Whatever the Pip-Boy stuff too in Fallout, but that's great to just like quickly identify like what you need. There's also, you can increase scanner range. I don't know if it's worth it. A friend was saying it's good. I'm just gonna walk up to the item. I'm just gonna walk up to the item. I
disagree, yeah.
That's gonna be one of my last skills. I'm all about flying my cool ship.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. All my points are in shipbuilding and flying and thrusters, and that's what I do.
Initially, like, I thought the perk system was gonna be neat when you guys just showed it to me, of like, you have to make more like concise choices about your character. Like, am I gonna be a stealth character? I don't know. But ultimately I've ended up putting 1 point in stealth just to have that ability to hide. Sometimes it's even required for a quest. Like you ultimately, I would say, can't do the Ryujin Industries quest without a point in stealth, because you need it to just
be
undetected
stealthy.
You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to be like perfect, but you need something. And so I found myself putting a lot of single points into talents just to have them, which just unfortunately feels a lot like busy work.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good. That's not a fun level to get.
Yeah, and same thing. Like, I think I understand what they were going for with the challenge based perks, where once you unlock it, you have to do a challenge to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It varies up the monotony of, it's not like Skyrim where you're like, I'm just going to put points into one-handed.
Yep.
And as I level, just one-handed, and you lose out on everything else. It lets you be varied a little bit. I found that once you get higher up and your quests or your challenges become like destroy 35 ships, it gets a little bit more interesting. But at the beginning, it's just like, oh, let me just grind out.
Or
You know,
that should be
5
how you get the
oxygen.
perk. Is by doing not that get unlocking it and then spending the skill point.
And then having to spend a skill point.
Because like
I think
Skyrim's leveling is so cool. The fact that like what you do levels up. So like if you're all about magic, shoot the magic. That's how you get the level. Like fun, make me do that. If I blow up 15 ships, then I'm unlocking the next level, and then it's 35 and stuff. And it's like just to make sure I have a skill point to get the skill. Like
Yeah, I have definitely found the best way to play this game is whatever you're doing, put points in that. Put your challenge points or your perk points. Like if you're not, if you're not using stealth, don't do it.
Yeah.
The tactic of like I'm going to level up stealth while I do basic story quests and then come to it. You're better off whatever the story demands. If that's shooting or piloting, just do that instead.
Yeah, yeah. And I think like this game apparently having to be so related into like New Game Plus, like that's been a big thing that's now been talked about, and I have no idea what that means. I have it spoiled for me, but knowing that your perks stay with you the whole time, it's like you're just building out this character throughout many cycles of what you're going.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're going to be a super character. Like that's this isn't a game where like I chose not to do stealth, and I had a great experience the whole time. Like you still kind of need stealth, and at the end of the day, you're gonna be a stealth archer. Like that's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I was a little put off by the talent tree.
So you want to talk about base building and what you don't like about it? Because I'm curious, what do you do? Why do you need a base?
I haven't done anything.
I want
to hear about it.
You don't.
Okay, cool. And that's the podcast right there, folks.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah. I have spent most of today trying to figure out base building, and it's really funny because it's like you were
working today, right?
No, I took today off.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I'm so sorry.
Trying to get him there?
I was trying to get him fired. Trying to get him got, folks.
Working.
No, I have a family trip to Oregon tomorrow. So I took today off and I just played Starfield all day.
So I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to,
Yeah, so first of all, surveying, which is linked in with base building, I think is kind of lame. You drop down on these kind of procedural-esque planets and you sprint long distances to scan repeatedly the same few plants, the same few animals, and the same few rocks over and over and over again. It's, I would say, boring and monotonous. And you're doing that all with the goal of like finding a good planet to build your base. So you guys remember Fallout 4's base building, right?
Boy, do I.
Yeah.
Can't forget it.
Not great.
No.
Nope.
Clunky building controls, not well explained on how the systems worked or how they benefited you. I would say that whoever's in charge of base building, they just saw all of those problems and then were like, I've actually been playing Factorio, so I'm gonna just shove that in there too.
No. Wait, really? Is there like resource mining?
Oh my god.
Oh, I don't know anything.
Let me just
you get a little cutter that you mine stuff from planets. Yeah,
let me just
don't let me get to this.
Let me just tell you my experience of building a base.
Can I ask a question? Just before you start the base building thing.
Yeah.
What are the resources for? Because I have a lot of I know they're for crafting, but
I don't know.
Okay,
I have spent so many 7 hours doing this, and I still don't know. And
What are adaptive frames? I got thousands of them.
They help you build things.
Okay,
they're adaptive.
Yeah, and they frame.
They look good.
So, I picked a planet that had a lot of core resources, and I was like, okay, this is where I'll do my planet. You land on the planet in a specific resource group because there's different resource groups, as you've seen. You don't just get them all in one. And then you land on the planet, you build your outpost, and then it is literally Factorio, where you are building various extractors, which mine the resources that you then link to storage facilities, which then link to cargo bays so that resources can travel between outposts.
Because they got James is in because they got weight limits to everything, huh? Everything's got a weight limit?
Yeah. There's like caps, right?
Yeah.
So a storage unit has a cap. So you link that to a cargo facility, which allows your resources to travel in between outposts, because all outposts are producing different resources.
And ships are like coming in to pick them up and like travel them? Or
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. And then from there, those raw materials get put into fabricators, which then make like machined materials, which I still don't know what they do. And at that point is when I got locked behind, you need outpost engineering to continue doing this.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so I just spent 7 hours building a interplanetary transit system of iron, aluminum, and hydrogen, all to get put into warehouses that get filled up way too quickly. All of that gets put into a fabricator that makes, like, adaptive frames. Well, that adaptive frames is kind of a building material, but all gets put into making like relay coils, and I have no fucking idea what a relay coil does.
James doesn't need to know. He's in.
I don't need to know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out like how do I manufacture and sell parts.
Yeah, they went full Factorio with it. And they don't explain at all what the end goal is. I thought that this was going to be you're extracting raw materials that will go directly into crafting. It doesn't.
That's what I thought.
There's apparently multiple layers to this. And if you remember in Fallout 4, like a lot of the stuff you could make for your base was made with pretty basic materials. This has taken it to 11 of like, there are materials that I have yet to find that are like, you need, 4 of this specific kind of adhesive to make, to make this product, which then goes into crafting a gun mod, which you need a perk for.
That kills me. To get the cool gun mod for the cool gun I have, I need to get the weapon perk. But in order to get the weapon perk, I got to get like 3 of the perks up top on this row that all of them seem useless.
You got to kill like 20 people with your bare hands.
Yeah.
The last thing I will say about the building system or the outpost system is that in Fallout 4, almost everything that you could pick up could be broken down into raw materials. So whenever you were out in the world gathering items, just picking shit up, you go back to your main base, you go to that red toolbox, and you just hit like deposit resources, and that like splats a bunch of raw materials into your base for you to use. And as long as you're running around your base, all those materials are available to you. This game doesn't have that. So all the cargo in my ship, A, doesn't get broken down into raw materials. B, it isn't just freely accessible. I have to build a building that takes the items from my cargo ship to the relay post, which then needs to get distributed out.
Like all the markers and stuff that you've picked up throughout the world, it's that kind of stuff you're talking about?
That does not break down into raw materials. And on top of that, the raw materials that I do have need to get taken out like in an automated system of my ship. I've done this for 7 hours. I have maxed out without getting any perks. I still have yet to get any object that just holds items. Like I can hold raw resources that I mine, and I can't hold any of the resources that I picked up just from playing the game. Those are all stuck in my ship's cargo bay.
So what do you do with them?
You need to get the perk. You need the perk.
You need to get the perk. Well, yeah, I'm going to sell them now. So at this point, I have given up basically on crafting, or I should say,
you come back to it. You're going to circle back.
The outpost system is overly complicated. It's super convoluted, and at the end of the day, I don't think it's worth your time.
Different game.
Yeah, it is a different game.
For your
and
third playthrough. It's for your third.
That's where my.
It's a different game, and it doesn't ever explain to you how it's supposed to tie in. Like if this was an obvious, like, oh, this turns into credits, or like this turns into, whatever, crafting items. I'd be like, oh, okay, sure. I'm doing this so that I can create cool gun mods. But the amount of Factorio-esque work that you have to do is insane.
So funny. That's
just to give you just a little icing on the top. This is where I like kind of rage quit. After building your raw materials, your holding facility, your transit facility, you get it to a fabricator, which turns raw materials into non-raw materials.
Of course.
But the fabricators require different fuel systems. So at the point where I built a fabricator, or was looking at building a fabricator, I would have to build 2 more transit systems to get fuel to power this specific fabricator. It's too much. It's bad.
You know what I did today, Ted, in this game? You know what I did? Every chunk that I've gotten while walking around the world, every chunk. I dropped them all and I put them all in one of my fridges in my ship. So I just have a fridge full of chunks.
Nice.
Ooh,
It's my chunk fridge.
Chunk fridge.
So, you know.
That's a better way to do it.
I like chunks.
And
yeah.
That's how I built my outpost.
I think that if you should avoid the outpost system unless you really want to dig into a bad Factorio.
Yeah.
Everything that you can do in an outpost, you can build in the shipbuilder, and it's just as good.
There's got to be something to it with like what you're using materials for that you just probably haven't gotten to yet.
That is what I keep telling myself of like, there's got to be more of this to
just
this
making
than
money?
or just like, overly complex for overly complex sake.
Yeah, there has to be something to it.
Like I was struggling to build like a weapon bench in my, because it requires all these resources. Or you can just go to the shipbuilder and click the armory mod on your ship, and then you have a full like armory in your spaceship already.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the outpost.
Yeah.
I will get back to you if I find out what the point of the outpost system is. But for right now, like just use the lodge, your like little constellation home base, and use your spaceship because.
We're in space. Come on.
Once again, Bethesda makes a bad base building addition to their game.
James is in. James is ready for this Factorio mode.
I'm ready. James, you dig deep and let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
That's our next podcast topic. Is James breaks down.
So what you do is when you set up the fabricate,
James pulls in a long whiteboard.
It's
like, Ted, see this is the CO2 right here. If we take the CO2 and that.
I'll bring out my Gantt chart. Show you like my manufacturing.
Literally. It is that bad.
Any final Starfield thoughts? I know we're going to talk so much more about Starfield. This podcast is going to be a Starfield podcast for a while. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I have some final thoughts.
Right.
This goes more to how the press has received it. I know there's been a lot of kerfuffle about review codes.
Sure.
But I would agree with the scandalous IGN review. This is a really fun game. I'm having a lot of fun with it. As someone who grew up with Bethesda games, I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is not a next generation game. I think they nailed it when they said that.
Yeah.
But it is not a 7 out of 10.
I think it's right around there. It takes way too long to get fun, in my opinion.
Like it's fun, and like I am bought into the spirit of it. I think if you told me there was a game where I got a little spaceship and flew around an open world, I would have been in no matter what. But the amount of times I found myself being like, oh, I'm in a loading screen. Oh, I walked in here just to walk out of here, which is a loading screen. Like little things like that, little things that quote this next generation we're going to change. This game has all of them. Still.
The fact that on a planet I got to go through a door to load to a screen to go into a building is like crazy.
Well,
and I know that's also so ridiculous, but that's crazy nowadays. How we're running games.
And it's funny to me that like it and. Obviously, people at Bethesda are working very hard. I'm sure this game is very difficult.
It's a great game. I love this game.
But it's like, did you not learn any lessons from Fallout 4? Like, this game has, in the same way as Fallout 4.
They made 76.
Oh, God.
We got to play it.
This game has, this in your inventory tab, this game has aid, where your health packs go, but also just raw foods. And once again, I caught myself laughing because I was like, in Fallout 4, I did the exact same thing of like, oh, I ran out of health packs, but I'm in combat. Let me just eat 35 hamburgers and 25 donuts to get
5 health per food. 5 health.
5. So I am just ticking down this inventory list, going up 5 food, 5 food, 5 food, 5 food, 5 food, 5 food, 5 food. And then I see my health bar go up a little bit, and then I finally get a health pack. It's like, oh, 150 health.
Med packs, that's it.
Like that. It's not fun. I don't know why they thought they should keep that in their game. It's like Fallout kind of got away with it because the Pip-Boy was really cute. It was kind of an in-world menu system. This game doesn't deserve that. It does not need to be in menus as much as it does.
No, and like the menus are all, they're just so convoluted. You have star maps, navigation consoles in your ship, but they just activate the same menu that you can activate from your menu.
Yeah.
Why do they exist?
Yeah.
So that was originally what you were supposed to use. You were supposed to use a star map, and someone was like, I'll just put it in the menu.
Yeah, I feel like this game was concepted as much more of a classic space sim, like the genre. And then at some point, the Bethesda of it all just crept its way right back in. The food thing is my most egregious example of like, we don't need this. We don't need this in games anymore.
The chunk shouldn't be 5 food. They should be X% of your health.
Yeah, exactly. Or this many hearts. You know what I mean? Like we figured out better cooking systems than this. We don't need this. So I very much agree that this is not a next generation game. This might be a really good last generation game.
It's a good Bethesda game. It's another Bethesda game, and that's great. And we love Bethesda.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Right.
But it's still like quirky and Bethesda and a little dated and made in its own little bubble of Bethesda. And that's all right. We love Bethesda games. But it's not changing
made in its own little bubble, I think is a great way to describe this game.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just how characters talk to you is for me. It's like, I love this game. It's so fun. But like the robotic turn, you're talking to someone like this in the face, and it's like, games don't do this anymore. We've found a way to tell story differently through character interactions, but we're still doing the Bethesda. Oh, so you think you can escape me? You can't escape me. And then your little thing pops up and like, wow, that's a great plan. Like, this doesn't feel real. This isn't a great interaction.
Right.
So for me, that to me is like, it's just, I love it. I'm having a great time with it. But it's definitely like, compared to other things that are out around it, it's not as like, wow, technically this is interesting and like changing stuff and moving things forward. It's just a Bethesda game, and that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say, I guess my biggest criticism overall, and this is not necessarily to demean the game, but it is in its own little bubble. It is stuck in its ways. If you've played, especially Fallout 4, but if you played a Bethesda game, you know exactly what you're getting into.
Yes.
It's not different. For some reason, I went into this thinking it was going to be different. It's not.
No, very early on, I was like, oh, it's not different.
It's not.
Okay.
It's so not. As soon as I found an engineering bench in a space station somewhere, I was like, what the fuck is... Oh,
it's a Bethesda game,
Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah. James, any final thoughts?
I'm just looking forward to playing a little bit more and
Yeah.
getting to that outpost building and manufacturing.
I'm going to streamline it for New Game Plus, I think. I want to see what this New Game Plus is about.
I'm here for the story. I'm going to keep doing this. I have forgot that the UC story quest was not the main story quest. No spoilers. But I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. This is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to reset it and then I'll start pursuing all the other stuff. I'm like, I'm just kind of curious. Like, what is this New Game Plus that everyone's like, yo, this is cool?
You got to hand it to them. They made a pretty engrossing space game.
Yeah, it's great.
In a world where science fiction can feel a little bit trot out.
Yeah.
They did a good job. Pioneer Town's stupid, but they did a good job. Or whatever it's called. Ikea City.
Ikea City is real stupid.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, like little western town is stupid. But
we talked about this last week. It's got like all of the like, you got to have the cyberpunk city. You got to have the western city. You got to have the like modern Star Trek-y sci-fi city. Like
they have one city from Mass Effect.
Yep.
One city from Cyberpunk, and then they have the stupid saloon door frontier town, complete with mud roads.
Yeah, they don't have roads on this planet.
I landed here in a spaceship to your built-out spaceport, and then I'm just walking in on mud roads. And, get met with a howdy, partner. There's a holdup at the bank.
A little Star Wars-esque there.
Got a nice ship there, partner. No one else talks like you guys.
Yeah. It was pretty silly.
That's how I feel like,
in a Bethesda way that we love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for watching the 145th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ted. That's James. And we will see you next week with probably a lot more Starfield talk. All right. We did it.